Haven't even played the game. Well, it's a great game. It was on sale recently. I think it is not on sale anymore, but if you like tactical games, if you like things where you are given the freedom to tinker around with how you want your units built and what they do. Oh, great. Welcome. Glad to have you guys. It's a great game. Is it part of the spring sale? Okay. I did not know that. That's good to know. Yeah, so it can be overwhelming, especially in the beginning. I recommend everybody join the Discord. Let me see. Can I get a link? Hey, thanks for the follow. Allergic to bullets. Me too, buddy. Me too. Um, is this a how can I will this work? I think that'll work. Yeah. So this is the official Discord. I recommend anybody who plays this game to join it. There's a great community over there for the most part. And tons of people that will just beat their keyboards to death trying to help you. So, yeah. Recommend it. All right. I wasn't paying attention again. I'm going to guess Team 2 is OSP. Fun luck, good have. Same you. Also. All right. Quasar fire with 3 escorts going on the roof. Over here, 2 sets of singles. Heavy investment on the bottom. ROM. Not sure. Okay, so that must be Rome Egypt. Rome Egypt? No, Rom. I don't know. Anyway, he's going under the map for sure, but it looks like there is a lone ANS also on the bottom. Yeah, we don't talk about Baldis. Hey, Baldis is optional. So, unless you go looking for it, you're not going to find it, which is good for everyone involved. All right, let's take a look at the fleets. Got a 450 BB and the one on the back. I like the one on the back. I know many people don't put it there, but if you're not going to have guns on every turret, are you even playing a battleship correctly? I mean, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I forgot we have new players. You're definitely allowed to not have a cannon there. Front-facing BB, hecka good. Alright, and a 450 Axford. It's escorted by a bunch of point defense. Got a command jammer there. A point defense escorts and a Corvette. Looks like this Corvette is not part of the formation, or if it is, he has it on a different setting. It probably is. And underneath the map goes a missile cruiser. That's an interesting choice. Usually you see this type of fleet played above where there's more cover, and that is probably going to be detected by the EWR. But I suppose he has confidence in his missiles to get the job done no matter what he runs into. Rounding out the ANS, we have a mixed 250, 120 cruiser, light cruiser. 3 of them. Are they all the same? They look all the same. So plenty of PD available. Actually, the 120s do hurt plenty against the OSP. Gonna see how those perform. On the other side, we have... okay. This is why it's called Bentalazic. Alright, so this is a size 2? Yep, size 2 monitor. That shoots a bunch of missiles. These are plasma T-30s. So slightly augmented from TF Garnet. Looks like he dropped out one of the monitors to get missiles instead and left the LR... Oh, nope. Took out the long range. This is a point defense tug. Interesting. So he has some missile capability to go along with his plasma tugs. Here comes a missile strike. Oh, this will be big. Lots of AMMs going out. We'll see if it's enough to stop these. These are only S2Hs. And it looks like they are going to connect. Another one zigzagging in. That one gets taken out by point defense. See what happens to this last one. Same story. There are more missiles available, though. This monitor group has to be careful. Speaking of, we'll go ahead and cover this one. This looks like another plasma T-30 group along with some capping shuttles. Don't want to miss this action. It's going to be a showdown. If this Axford is not able to kill all of these monitors before they close the distance much further, it's going to take an awful lot of damage from these 30mm. It needs to be shooting its S3Hs. These S2Hs do not do enough damage against these monitors to stop them in their tracks. You can see here just a light damage, not even a cannon killed really, and it better be backpedaling. Yep, there go the reverse thrusters. Still S2Hs, possibly a mistake. It does have S3Hs available, or I think it does. Let's double check. Yeah, nope. It's opted to take torpedoes. That's unfortunate. More size 2 hybrid missiles come out, but suppose it did hit that one. Not enough, though. Those torpedoes are not going to get the job done against this amount of defenders. And it looks like it's going to bravely run away. We'll see what else is going on. Meanwhile, Sanctus, again, with the... this time it's double 450s. And his mine-laying monitor. Okay. And an EWR in front of a rock. If you play OSP, please do not put an EWR here. I'm sure he just lost track of it for a moment, but in case anyone is wondering, no, the radar does not, in fact, go through rocks. So there's that. All right, and Cole is regular. Okay, so this is their friend firing mines, and let's see if he... Nope, still just containers. All right. Speaking of the containers, here they come, curving around a rock. This is a really good angle, actually. Ooh, they're coming so close. The beams, the monitors, everything. If this container hits, it's more than likely going to take out the beam, spelling doom. Oh, but here comes the point defense. Here come the AMMs. Unfortunately, looks like that's the end of the containers. But this plasma is on point. These T-30s are on point. It might still be the death of this thing. Its beam is rotated the wrong way. It's looks like it's not going to be able to get another shot off. It's trying desperately to roll back. Meanwhile, the monitors slowly now. I suppose there are plenty damaged. There's only one that has all of its weapons still up. Is it enough? Oh, goodness. Look at that. Look at that PD fire. And there goes the beam. That is more than likely going to be the end of this Axford as these monitors slowly get their weapons back, get their plasma on target, and that will be the end of this Axford. Is the Icon Shine Shims pretty much a broadside ship? Let's see. Which ship was that? So where the rounds impact the ship, it affects the modules in the bottom. Right, yeah. So if you take a look here, it's getting shot in this rear section. You can see it actually flash here. These modules are the ones that take damage. So you can see the rounds coming in here. They deal damage to the same area. So the fact that he's kind of... Ooh. Oh, goodness. Here come the CLs from above, trying to perhaps not save, but avenge their missile Axford on the bottom here. Just a hail of bullets. Wow. Um, I guess the ANS also can DACA. Unfortunately, it looks like most of these rounds are not armor piercing. You can see actually on this ship, they have uh, kind of welded this extra armor in place. These actually have 40 centimeters of armor. It's the same class of armor on this Axford. So if you ever find yourself shooting tiny caliber weapons at a cargo loader or a monitor like this, make sure you fire armor piercing. Regardless, there's just so much fire. You can see here, this side of the ship is absolutely shredded and is dying now. Let's see what happened to this Axford. It looks like it might be able to survive. These CLs coming down here to finish off the monitors likely will do the job of saving this. There isn't too much firepower left alive. I believe this is a... oh, no, it is fully alive. We'll see if they're able to finish off the monitors. Come back to that fight in a moment. Quick look elsewhere. These line ships have flanked almost all the way around to sea. That is going to give them a commanding position against this Axford up here, which is still worried about elsewhere on the map. EWR, so much of it is focused on the bottom here. I think what's happened is both teams have seen the huge fight and they're committing more and more resources to it on both sides. This battleship is moving down to engage. This monitor group also looks like, well, it looks like this monitor group has had second thoughts. It is not interested in engaging whatever is left there, and they are pulling back. Meanwhile, it looks like the ANS has managed to capture A. That just happened. Let's see if they have anything capable of recapturing. Does not look like it. These line ships have been spotted over here. We can see the Axford down there continuing to be pummeled. These line ships have been spotted, meaning whatever flank they were attempting over here, it is not secret anymore. I think Sanctus actually is a player we saw a little bit earlier. Yep, 120 millimeter though. The armor-piercing version of that round actually does do enough. I think it deals 45, which is just enough to get through the 40 centimeters of armor and go in and chunk the monitor. So a little bit of a lull in the action. There's blankets being fired here. There's not much else happening. Unfortunately, OSP is not able to capitalize on the fact that ANS have moved all of their ships down here. Looks like more monitor fire, this time against the CLs. I'm sure this player is actually cackling. They get to give the ANS a taste of their own medicine. Unfortunately, plasma at this range, especially against CLs, and they've swapped targets also, not able to hit. And here comes the BB. Those are tracers. I recognize them as 450 fire. These monitors need to GTFO if they are interested in life. Let's go ahead and get a cinematic here. Yeah, there we go. And you can see over on the left here, that missile Axford actually managed to repair up and is on the move again, running away swiftly. There you can hear the big guns of the battleship. See if we can get it in the frame. Unloading on these monitors. And the UFO woo-woos as it goes by. Let's take a quick look at the amount of damage done. Not too much. Well, that monitor actually ate it. That's the 120 dealing damage to it. Ooh, here comes a big 450. So because of their small size, and they do have the ability to dodge a lot of this 450 shells. Perhaps nope, there is a fire control lock. But Monitor's really good at fighting in this kind of engagement against just one isolated ship. But in this case, they have this 3CL escort fleet, and it doesn't do the same amount of alpha damage, but as you stack up the damage on these ships, you can see here the thrusters are being destroyed. And this is something that isn't obvious to newer players, but as your thrusters get destroyed, your ship's ability to dodge fire is greatly diminished. And weapons like these 120 APs are great at doing that. And when that dodge ability, that speed goes down, then you can have heavier weapons like this come in and deal the killing blow. So now these will more than likely miss again. No, well, there's one hit. But more importantly, when you are facing the nose of your ship towards an enemy, the first thing that gets blown off are the thrusters that make you go backwards. So essentially, that kind of commits you to the fight. If you try and run away, you'll be moving at this speed right here, very low. And that is especially bad for a monitor because all of its weapons are on the nose or on the front. It's been defanged. It can't do anything at this point except eventually get chewed up and die. They are really good at living past... Oof. This one's getting chewed up. They are... these ships are very, very good at surviving a lot of firepower. You can see the important sections of the ship are all in the back. So they do live a long time, but they can get their weapons taken out. Where are the DC lockers? It depends on each ship. So all of these segments, these lasers, this reinforced magazine, the players will build their ships and decide where they go. So it's not the case like, oh, this is a monitor, so the DC is always in the back. I mean, it's a good idea to put them in the back for a monitor. But if you wanted to, you could put them in one of these front compartments too. We said no frig blob. There's no frig blob. What's he talking about? Oh, is it just armed with... yeah. So I guess what happened here was I'm not sure, but I was focused on that fight down there. It was the lion's share of the action. Up here, it looks like these 450 line ships have not been able to capitalize against this Axford. And I would chalk that up to the fact that they have moved completely out of cover. Is the monitor the same as the frigate or a little bigger? So you can see the size. This, is roughly how big a frigate is and a monitor in comparison. So they're basically the same size. It might even be smaller in the case of a monitor. But they're the same class of ship. I believe they're both considered frigates. Oof. This line ship has been outmaneuvered, and well, it might get its cannons on target. So what I was talking about before, the line ships are, even though they're pretty tanky and they're armed with heavy cannons,
We are contesting zone Comet.
you really don't want them to get shot at. I know that seems a little redundant to say, but especially because of the way these cannons work. Um, they have a big magazine basically, and they shoot a really fast, really big barrage, but then they have to reload for like over a minute. I think the base is like a minute and 10 seconds or something like that. And while you're doing that, if you're out in the open and you're getting shot at, you know, it's bad news bears. The better way to handle that is to pop up around cover, fire your cannons, unload your load in like 20 seconds, and then back around behind cover, wait for your cannons to reload, and then pop out again. If you instead come out and try and engage like ANS would, where you push just through open space or along a lane, um, it's normally doesn't end well. These ships are nowhere near as structurally sound and as tough as something like an Axford, or even especially a battleship. But even an Axford, you know, with some escorts, in the case of what happened here, hey, containers, um, is more than capable of dealing with and taking out line ships in the open. So they were in a great position when they came around this flank to do something like get on top of this rock, kind of peek around it, unload all their 450s into the frigates, into this Axford, and then back off. And then come back out again, and then back off again. And that puts the ANS player on the defensive and really in a bad position because either they have to kind of, decide to slug it out and shoot back while you are exposed and while you are doubling or tripling the amount of firepower they can in that burst window. Looks like some missiles coming in. Hey, from that Axford. It wants revenge. Let's see. It's managed to necro up enough of itself that it can fire missiles again. And then as I got distracted there. So as you're popping out and popping back in, the ANS have no choice but to basically lose the fight and then or push into you. And if they push into you, so let's say you're on top of this rock in the Axford and it's coming around the corner, you can just, wait. Let your cannons reload. When it pushes around the corner, fire, and then move back again. You're faster than an Axford in most cases, and you can just keep that position and unload your damage and pummel them and not get killed in return. That is between a rock and a hard place. Who's saying that? So as I was talking about that, it looks like the rest of these monitors have gotten cleaned up.
The enemy secured Zone Atlas.
Well done to the ANS team. So in this particular case, it looks like just a good mix of fleets, especially these CLs. These CLs are really what capitalized and cinched the victory over both monitor groups for the battles there. The 450s really, when we saw it in, sorry, I'm getting distracted by chat. You saw the 450s there. They're not able to connect. Oof. Right, so we'll even see here. At this range, they will. But at the distance they were fighting earlier, the 450s had a hard time connecting with those monitors. But these 120s, these little mini cannon thingies, were having no problem shredding. And that, in conjunction with this heavier fleet, is really what let them push and destroy those monitors. They won't let you play ANS. Yeah, sorry, buddy. So there goes one monitor. This other one is going to fall in short order. And at this point, it's really ANS just mopping up. They've had the point lead for a significant amount of the game. They're still ahead, 610 to 518. The combat ships, the monitors, are falling one by one. this container ship is not able to do anything. These CLs are creating just an absolute no-go zone where any container is going to die. Here comes the defender fire. There go the containers. Yeah. So this game absolutely going to go the way of ANS. Well played to them. Did a great job, really. I was a little skeptical if they were going to be able to take out all the monitors, but these CLs really, really did the job. Unfortunately for the OSP team, while the ANS was sort of maneuvering down here and dealing with their bottom flank, they did not have control of A. If they had control of A, they would have been in the 700 to maybe 800 range by now, and that gives them some options for winning the game. Because they weren't in that position and the ANS had the points while they were pushing, instead now they're in this position where they really have no chance, especially considering how many ships are still alive. They have these CLs. This BB is going to take E. This Axford is still defending C, defended C the entire time. So that right there is already 3 points. Then they have D, just as a result of nothing on OSP capable of pushing into it. So yeah, well, let's give out the GGs and see what happens.